Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love. American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts and Decepticons. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
I'm your other host, Mara.
And we are joined today by a special guest. Please introduce yourself, special guest.
Hi, I'm Dan. I have to say, I've never been that deep into Transformers. I've always, it's always been on the edges of my periphery. I had a blast watching these episodes. These episodes were a treat in the purest sense of the word.
This is exactly why I have made it my mission for this summer of Sunbow to get as many people in on this as possible, because I truly believe that G1 Season 2 is the ultimate Transformers experience.
Mm-hmm.
I actually believe it's the best season of television that has ever been created.
It's incredible. I'm gonna have to watch more.
These aren't even, Dan, I need to tell you, these aren't even good episodes.
These are like mid Season 2 episodes.
These are incredibly mid episodes for Season 2. You kind of got into it, but one of the things we always ask our guests, obviously, is what your history with Transformers is. Is there anything besides what you already said that you'd like to add?
Okay, so, since I was born in 94, my first experience with Transformers would have been the Prime anime from the early 2000s.
You mean the Armada anime?
Armada, yes. Yeah, I remember watching a couple episodes of that and thinking it was cool. And ever since then, it's just been like, oh, cool. I've learned some new Transformers information. Oh, cool. There's some other stuff going on. I've never really looked that deep into it, but it's always been on the edges of my periphery. I will also mention, that being said, I am familiar with some other Hasbro cartoons of this era, specifically G.I. Joe and Gem and the Holograms, both of which carry a sort of similar energy of insanity. Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a loaded word, but I would say that's a fair way to describe it. G.I. Joe more so because it's got geopolitical shit, and I think so I remember watching a couple of years ago. I was with my old anime watching group. We would sometimes just pop on this G.I. Joe 24-hour stream that Hasbro runs, and every time we opened it, something completely and utterly batshit was happening. So that's that. I've had a very similar experience to it in the past.
TV shows in the 80s benefited from complete lack of regulation and extremely common access to cheap animation, and of course, an unending supply of stimulants to the Los Angeles area.
Mm-hmm. And on top of all that, rampant capitalism, because we have to remember that all of these, basically every cartoon, not just the Hasbro ones, but every cartoon in the 80s was a glorified toy commercial.
Yeah. If they weren't a toy commercial outright, they were doing shit to make more money. They were doing some bullshit to make more money. The two things I think about specifically are stuff I learned about while researching Sonic Underground. The first is that PSAs under Reagan administration television laws make it count as educational television. So that's why G.I. Joe always had one, and why the real Ghostbusters always had one. And also, in the 90s, people discovered that if you put a song in your episode, you can get royalties off of it and make even more money. Which is why Sonic Underground has a song in every episode.
Yep. It's all about finding those loopholes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
To maximize your earnings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I I gotta say, I actually didn't really remember either of these episodes because there's so much. This season gets so much nuttier that these episodes really do kind of fade into the background as being okay, fair enough. These at least these two episodes at least have coherent enough plots to them. That does not remain true for for this entire season.
That's great.
I will say that is true for me of Attack of the Autobots. I always, whenever I think of G1 Season 2, I always think of City of Steel because of the alligator incident.
Because of the alligator? I think the arm thing is funnier, honestly.
Both of them are great. City of Steel...
But let's talk about them.
Yeah, let's talk about Season 2, Episode 3 of Generation 1, City of Steel.
Twin Towers mentioned!
Twin Towers mentioned. Empire State mentioned. New York, the greatest city on Earth, baby.
What's really funny about this episode is that within the first 5 minutes, the Decepticons do 9/11 too.
Oh yeah, they're doing so many 9/11s.
They're doing 9/11-0.
A third. We said in the first episode of this entire podcast that Starscream's jet fuel can't melt steel beams. However, we didn't consider Rumble and the Constructicons just digging a hole out underneath the Empire State Building.
I love that they have it perfectly lined up with the city block, so it goes straight down.
Just dig a
perfectly
square, bedrock
just
pit
like the towers did.
to
Minecraft style project.
Absolutely. I mean, the Constructicons would go crazy for Minecraft. I mean, this opening sequence of just the reveal that the Decepticons are basically just building a Cybertronian fortress underneath New York. Dropping all of the existing buildings underground and then putting the new ones up in their place.
No, I don't think this is the first time we see the Constructicons, right?
No, they were in the end of the last season. They were in Heavy Metal War, but this is their first...
But this is the first time they get, personality, and it is the first time they combine into Devastator.
No, they combined into Devastator at the end of Season 1, but this is their first, actual showcase as a team.
Yeah. This is they all actually start to get personalities here.
Half of them do. Scavenger and Bone Crusher are still really generic and ill-defined, but the rest do get their one personality trait.
My favorite of them is always going to be Hook. I think Hook is such a funny character. They're like, oh, we don't have a medic. I guess this guy's gonna do it.
He's I guess if there's anyone who can repair a car, it's a construction robot.
And but you would think, right? You would think that would make Hook the leader of the Gestalt, but it does not.
No, he's just some guy.
It super does not. He's just some guy who happens to be the chief medical officer of the Decepticons. My favorite line though here in terms of establishing character is long hauls.
Yes, I mean this is his literal only thing.
I didn't sign up to be a dump truck, says the literal dump truck.
Long haul only exists to complain about doing work, and he hates being a dump truck, and it's like, well, man, you can rescan something else.
Yeah, very mercenary vibes.
You chose your alt mode, my man. I mean, there are limitations with your root form, but within that, there are many things you could have been. Look at your 5 team members.
Then we have, we meet them all. We have Scrapper, who's sort of the, arrogant, domineering foreman who takes credit for everything, which makes sense for the leader.
He is the leader of the Gestalt.
Hook, who is sort of, fancy, kind of... how would you describe a Hook? He's kind of got the hardest to pin down thing.
Hook, here's my
pompous,
thing,
I guess.
With Hook. I actually think, in terms of characters, he's actually not that far off from Prime Knockout.
He is very effete.
Yeah, he's very effete and he takes a lot of pride in his work, but is also aware to the extent that anyone in G1 is self-aware that it is not what he is meant to do. So it's like this constant thing of like, don't like mock my, medical skills. And then if anyone has any complaints, and he's like, well, I wasn't supposed to do this. I'm not Ratchet.
Every Decepticon faction gotta have the gay-coded medic.
Of course.
Yeah.
Naturally.
And then Mixmaster's thing is that I think he's just kind of high on fumes.
Great.
Yeah, Mixmaster is high off his own supply, literally.
Scavenger and Bone Crusher don't really get moments, but they are named and they are here. And they are building. And we cut to...
Wait, we're missing one.
No, this is all of them.
Long haul.
No, we already talked about Long Haul and how he just complains about being a dump truck.
Sure.
Which is, I don't want to say it's your fault, man, but it is kind of your fault.
Uh-huh.
My brother in Christ. My brother in Primus. You're the one who chose your alt form.
So we cut to the arc where they're watching the news about how somebody stole the Empire State Building, and Optimus goes, well, that's probably Megatron.
Yeah.
It is actually, like, genuinely in a post-9/11 world crazy to hear this news segment, because it's like, it's like, as a New Yorker in a post-9/11 world, it is like, could you imagine if this was, like, the news reaction? Like, it's so wild to think that this aired at any point.
Editing real 9/11 news footage over this scene.
Yeah.
Gonna draw every single character I know reacting to it.
Bumblebee voice, they hit the fucking Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time to head to New York
City. Decepticon, a second Seeker has hit the towers, has hit the Pentagon.
It was just Ramjet both times.
I was gonna say it was Thrust. No, it was Dirge. He would sign up for it.
Either Dirge would go like to
Dirge
go
or
out.
Sunstorm.
Sunstorm doesn't know
Dirge would do
it.
Yet. Dirge would do it because he wants to die. Sunstorm would do it because he was convinced he would survive.
Ramjet would do it because you paid him $7 and a bag of chips. He's ready to go.
Thrust would defect after both of his Trine mates died badly.
Yeah, we have the Elite Trine. The Kona should have, like, the fucking Temu.com Trine.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to New York fucking City, baby.
Really good traffic for New York.
Yeah, I was about to say, they talk about the traffic later. Honestly, for a whole city evacuation, it seems pretty light. This is just like 9 a.m. traffic, But this has the first of many incredible lines in this episode. So they get to Central Park. Like, you got Optimus and the gang in Central Park. And Rumble and Frenzy pop out, and they go, "Ain't you tourists know that it's being in Central Park?" And then Soundwave steps out of the trees and goes, "He's bad for your health." This was still 80s New York, and it was a less squeaky clean place than it is now, I guess.
Oh, for sure.
Not quite mid-70s Warriors sort of New York, though. And I just love, like, what Soundwave never gets to quip. He's always doing sort of, he's doing exposition, he's being cool and aloof. But here he gets to hang out with his dipshit Italian sons, Rumble and Frenzy. Don't ask me which one is which, because that's a question that's going it's a long running, extremely heated debate within the Transformers community whether Rumble is red and Frenzy is blue, or Frenzy is blue and Rumble is red. Those are the same things.
That's great.
Because of inconsistent coloring throughout several different pieces of media. Their colors are different in the comics than they are in the show, than they are in the toy line, than they are in, like, the storybooks. It's all different. But I
argue that Rumble is black and red and Frenzy's purple.
Okay, that's interesting, because I feel like the general consensus settled on Fibrir, or is it the other way around? I feel like everyone just sort of defaulted to the G1 cartoon logic, which is Rumble being blue and Frenzy being red.
Mm-hmm. You see, he's got... Wait, I was going to say a mnemonic, but then I just remembered both of them have R in their name.
Yeah. But, regardless, as always...
Oh, yeah.
Frenzy's ability is never...
damn it. I hate these guys.
Frenzy's ability is never shown. He just has the pile drivers like Rumble does. He's supposed to have, like, sonic disruptors.
No, you're right.
But...
Rumble is the purple one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Frenzy's red and Rumble's purple.
I really like... The scene where they knock Ironhide over is really funny. He just, like, falls over and goes,
so
oh!
And they just, like, stare at him, and that's the end of the scene, and then it's hard cuts. It just hard cuts away.
There's a lot of weird... Yeah, there's a lot of weird cuts in this episode.
Yeah, something I gotta say is... I'm repeatedly trying to figure out the scale of all these characters.
Don't bother.
Don't.
I really shouldn't.
Don't.
So
don't. Yeah.
This episode has some pretty famous animation errors. This is one of the ones that had. I think there's a shot. Yes. Here we go. I'm gonna post Baby Blue Streak here in the scheduling. This is a very famous animation error. He's so small. He's like Bumblebee size.
Okay, Ratchet is huge in this episode.
So, I do want to say, I'll talk about this again later, but Bumblebee is God's littlest son, and I will do anything to protect him.
But, like, Bumblebee is, like, I would say, the one whose size changes the most.
Sometimes, some of the shots in the next episode we're going to talk about, he is the size of, like, a normal, like, a particularly short human man.
Yeah, he's 5'6", but his bills are all paid.
But yeah,
right.
G1 Cartoon Bumblebee is the most G Willikers aw shucks kind of guy you can make. Like he's a pleasant little guy.
So the Decepticons build a fortress in the middle of Manhattan.
Yeah, they have kidnapped Optimus Prime.
Yeah, they they disable his ability to move and then put him in the back of Long Haul, and it's like
I love
and they're
how
like,
easily
all right,
they're able to do this.
Just like Megatron just like cuts one wire,
a single tap to his chassis, and then they like take him into the pits underneath Manhattan, underneath Central Park, I guess, and like this tower comes up from it. This is just what the Manhattan skyline looks like these days. There is a monstrosity that is just a single tower that goes straight up. It's really funny because it's a gazillion dollars for any of the rooms, and it cost a gazillion dollars to build. And it sways dangerously in the wind. And there are times when people can't use the elevators because of it.
Oh my god.
It's a monstrosity.
I think I've seen that thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a monstrosity.
Yeah.
So anyway,
is it
Megatron builds that.
Lumpy though?
I mean, no,
because the
it doesn't have pizzazz. It doesn't have that pizzazz. But this is what Hudson Yards looks like these days, frankly.
Megatron unveils the centerpiece of New Cybertron City, which is a version of the Empire State Building that's really bulbous and purple. I just in my notes.
I think it warts.
Yeah.
They gave it herpes.
I just kept calling it the big purple dildo in my notes.
They gave it. It's big and hard and purple, and it has bumps. They gave it herpes.
And he's like, he tells the Autobots, "Haha, I have Optimus. You can't do anything. You have to let me build my big stupid city in the middle of New York, or I'm gonna kill him." And the Autobots go, "Oh, okay," and they start to leave, and then they go, "Wait a minute."
My favorite, well, no, only Spike and Bumblebee go, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
The other ones are like, "This is fine." By the way, love the idea of there being like early exits on the Brooklyn Bridge here. Great invention. Love that. They went right into the East River, as far as I can tell.
I mean, they do go through the famously cathedral-like and expansive New York sewers.
I mean, true. And also, very fascinating to me that they are apparently escaping into Brooklyn, which, like, dead ends. I mean, that you can go through Brooklyn to Long Island, eventually, but it would be much smarter to go to New Jersey.
Well, I mean, Mario's there, so
yeah, Mario. Just hit up Mario. He's really good at taking down like big guys climbing towers.
He's got a lot of pipes that can get you from one place to the other very fast.
So this is where Megatron tells Hook, "You know what? I don't like chop Optimus up. I don't like him being here."
But like Hook takes this again. Like nailing down Hook's character is very difficult, but he does take the creep factor up here to like 11. He's like, Megatron's like, disassemble Optimus, and Hook goes, "Yes, with pleasure." And it's like, dude, what is wrong with you? You need to chill out. This is not that kind of show.
This and the next part of Optimus's
the Robo-Gore.
Yes, this and the next bit of thing they do to Optimus has real, like, fetish comic vibes.
Oh, yeah. So, like, the two things, I already mentioned the pet, but I also wonder if, like, the whole Pharma Ratchet thing was inspired by this in the IDW comics. If James Roberts watched this episode and came up with two ideas from it, that would not shock me. And, like, the pet thing is, I think, more questionable, but this is, like, straight up look, Ratchet, it's you!
So Hook pulls out his surgical implement of choice, which is a lightsaber, and just hacks Optimus to pieces.
So, Dan, there is a part in the IDW comics where there is an evil medic who's obsessed with Ratchet, named Pharma, who works... is coerced by the DJD. This is not his own choosing, but works with a very notoriously evil group of Decepticons called the Decepticon Justice Division, and basically like uses their ability to get his hands on Ratchet and does the exact same thing here. Takes Ratchet's entire head off with his spinal cord intact. And like shows him his own body. It goes, "Look, Ratchet, it's you."
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He does all sorts of other stuff too. At some point he gets a chainsaw hand, he cuts people in half, all that sort of thing.
That's great.
Godspeed, Ambulon. You sure did nothing.
At a certain point, he stops being coerced by the DGG, just realized he loves hacking people up. He's a big fan. He meets a guy named Tyrest who loves drilling holes in his skin. For reasons, and they meet up with Starsaber, who's an insane religious fanatic, and they all just connect.
Tyrest was like, "I had one lobotomy and it wasn't enough. I have to do it to myself all the time forever. Also, I'm going to commit a genocide. It's fine."
Right. And the only thing standing in their way is...
I like that Optimus can send out like a Wi-Fi signal to control the different parts of his body.
Yeah, so after they have it's so funny because we get the cut and then we just get a shot of Long Haul dumping all of Optimus's like body parts out like he's a bunch of rubble. And then Megatron grabs Optimus's head and starts playing with like the connector wires and being like, "Ha, I got you." And Optimus goes, "Well, actually, I got you." And he controls his arms to shoot out and grab Megatron's ankles. Yeah, he has total control of his body. And Megatron goes, "Whoa, I don't want any of that shit. Just dispose of all his limbs any way you see fit." He just tells the Constructicons, up to your judgment, guys, whatever you want to do. And someone had a great idea.
But okay, we do need to mention that Megatron still is absolutely sicko shit. It says, "I leave the head for me."
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with his head? What are you gonna do with his head?
It's weird, if I had a nickel for every time a Megatron kept the disembodied head of his vanquished foe, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't that much, but it's weird that it happened twice in a row.
Are you talking about TFA?
No, I'm talking about War for Cybertron. He keeps
Ultramagnus
and monologues to it.
I was trying to remember what it reminded me of, but now I remember. Like, it reminded me of the Chucky TV series, where Andy just has like a severed Chucky head in his possession.
Yeah. I mean, he does also do it with Starscream in TFA.
Yeah. That's unwilling, though. He doesn't want that head.
Yeah, he doesn't want that. Starscream just won't die.
But yeah, I mean, he leaves it up to the Constructicons, and I just want to ask you six fellows, whose idea was the alligator? Which one of you motherfuckers came up with that?
I'm sure that Bone Crusher loves TMNT.
Yeah, which one's the biggest turtle head?
I am sure of this. I am sure of this, and that he heard about the sewer gator rumors.
Yeah.
And he was like, "We can do this. We're in New York. We can do this."
I watched this documentary, guys. It's called Chuds.
This is the other thing that reminded me of weird fetish comics. Just turning a guy into a completely different thing that has elements of the original form but is otherwise completely unrecognizable.
Dan, it is called Transformers.
It is called Transformers.
They be transforming all the damn time. And like we've been alluding to, this has some similarities to, once again, something that happens in the IDW comics, where a character with a wolf alternate form gets basically lobotomized and permalocked into that form and turned into a pet.
Yeah, that's the step further to make it even more of a fetish comic. Shout outs to Squeak Kitties.
That is also DJD. Was he always a wolf alt form? I thought they forced him into a new alt form specifically.
I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact.
I don't think he was
specifics.
Because I think he and his brother were both normal civil servants.
That's true.
And then they I'm trying not to spoil it. But because I don't know, that was a very shocking moment when you find out who the pet is.
Anyway, the point is that they've turned most of Optimus's torso into an alligator, which the Autobots encounter. The legs are just standing in an empty lot somewhere. I guess they couldn't figure out anything to do with that, and they throw the arm, complete with still holding Optimus's gun, just into the back of Longhaul's bed, and Scrapper goes, "I know what to do with this."
Yeah,
that's a secret tool that'll come in handy later.
So they're sneaking through the sewers. They have to solve a fucking Dark Souls encounter puzzle to trick the Optimus Gator into going onto the subway and then sending the subway off to unlock the path forward.
Something I wanted to say is it's around this point that I realized what this episode feels like to me, in this sort of weird chicken and egg sort of way. It feels like something you would, a little kid would come up with while playing with their toys. Just any idea they could think of with the guys they have and doing whatever they can with them.
The inclusion of the battle taxis later really cements that for me. Where it's you're just, because when I was a kid, I did that all the time. I just threw whatever I had together and made up a story. And there are quite a few episodes of G1 Season 2 that do feel a lot like that. But this is, you're right. This is the most one that's like that.
Mm-hmm. And now Uber has killed all those battle taxi jobs.
Yeah.
Man.
But there's a reason for that, and that is because this show is there to sell toys.
That's right.
I do think there are two basic undercurrents that sort of guide everything in this series. One of them is to sell toys. Mm-hmm. And the other one is the Cold War.
And
basically everything about this series goes back to one of those two things, if not both at the same time.
This show dabbles in geopolitics sometimes too. Not as often as G.I. Joe, obviously, but one time they did it. It was so racist that it caused Casey Kasem to quit the show.
That's great.
Look forward to the season 3 episode, Thief in the Night, I believe is what the episode in question. Anyway, we have we cut back up to the surface where the Decepticons are working hard. I really like the scene where Skywarp shoves an entire car up Mixmaster's ass, and he spits out like steel girders. Because the whole thing with Mixmaster is that, like, his drum is like it can convert anything to anything. It's like a mobile chemistry lab. But the
alchemy lab, yeah.
The visual of Skywarp just feeding an entire sedan into this slot and then just standing there and watching it is really funny.
It's like Play-Doh.
Do you think it feels good for Mixmaster?
Yeah, I think that's why he's like that. I think that's why he's like this.
Yeah. He chose his alt form well. Long haul, you could have done this.
Yeah, you could have been shoving cars up your ass this whole time, but instead you just have to like pull rocks. And I love this thing where Starscream's looking around. He's like, I hate to hand it to the guy, but like Megatron was kind of cooking with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this actually rolls.
And to be fair, both of these episodes contain two of like the least stupid G1 Megatron plans. These are like two decent ideas with some decent execution. This will stop happening at a certain point in the season, and eventually we'll just get to him building a gigantic purple griffin with extremely unclear goals.
That's great. I also found myself thinking a lot about the Cheat Commandos bits from Homestar Runner. Like, I've seen G.I. Joe, of course, but like, I'm also seeing that in these.
Mm-hmm.
So from on a scale from 1 to useless, where do you put Autobop?
Is that the one where he buys a nightclub?
Yep, that's the one. That's
that
the one where Soundwave and Starscream run a nightclub.
That is a.
I mean, I would go there. That's a great plan That's a great plan for in general for fun.
That is a real
for fun and profit.
Real close to the completely useless scale.
Yeah.
What a great episode.
God, I love Autobot. It is my second favorite episode after Decepticon and King Arthur's court.
Of course. So they find Optimus's head, and they're like, "Oh my God, Optimus, what have they done to you?" And Optimus says, "Actually, it's fine. I can just like pull all my parts together," and he does. And this is where we see.
Why didn't you do this before?
The Constructicons, like I said, literally just you couldn't figure out anything to do with his legs. You just like left them on the street.
Yeah, this feels like something I would do with my Bionicles.
Just pull them apart and leave random limbs everywhere.
Yeah.
So they wrangle the alligator and put him back together, and now all that Prime is missing is the arm. And this is where we finally see where they put the arm, which is on the very
insult to literal injury.
The very tippy top of the giant purple dildo is like a turret.
Yeah. I think you can get this on baddragon.com, and it's called something like Silas the Xenomorph.
Starscream, prepare the giant silicon injection molder.
So you say that there is a turret, but that is giving the wrong impression. There is Optimus's arm hot glued to the side of the building, like, shooting at people. That's it. It's not a turret. It's literally just his arm. And it's like something out of Mars Attacks.
I'm really tickled. It is. This episode is very Mars Attacks. I'm really tickled by the fact that the control scheme is like Soundwave has to press an individual button like every time he wants to shoot.
Yeah, he's gotta fan the hammer.
Yeah. So while everyone is being shot by, turrets and battle taxis and Optimus' stolen arm, Bumblebee and Spike infiltrate Bad Dragon HQ over here.
Okay, can we talk about this crack rescue team here in order? I forgot to mention this when we were talking about them rescuing everyone before, but in order of use, Mirage. Okay.
Great.
I'll give that to you. He's a covert ops guy. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Hound. Sure, you want a little bit of heavier guns if you're going to be going into Decepticon HQ? I got it. You can have Hound. Ratchet.
I mean, it ended up being useful to bring him along because they did chop Optimus up like a fucking roast ham.
But they didn't know that.
They needed a healer.
And then Bumblebee and shoulders.
Those are the ones you should probably leave at home. Although, I mean, they're the ones who infiltrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Everyone
well,
else...
I mean, like that part of it is like, well, Spike shouldn't be anywhere near here.
He almost died last time he went out on a mission.
Literally, why Sparkplug has not just grounded this kid forever is beyond me. I think we discovered he's like actually 16, right? And that it's just child labor violations that has him working.
He was working on that oil rig.
Yes, on Sparkplug's oil rig.
That's great.
Why Sparkplug lets this kid out of his sight ever is a mystery.
Oh, I also want to say something I noticed was like when they reassemble Optimus, minus one arm, I did realize that the alligator head was left behind. That was an original sculpt.
Yes.
There were just a bunch of like extra bits.
I'm telling you, Bone Crusher heard the rumor.
Mm-hmm.
He had this ready to go.
He had this ready to go. He wanted it to happen. Listen, I figure the Constructicons saw the Dinobots, right? And they were like,
we gotta do something like that. So
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't do that.
Optimus proves to be very OP because even without any weaponry, he just like drives down the street and everything explodes. All of the taxis with machine guns attached to them just explode. All of the turret emplacements that the Constructicons are manning explode.
Mo Big.
He is an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, and then we get Spike and Bumblebee's big plan, which is to troll Megatron relentlessly until he blows up his own computer system, which works.
Is this before or after they're in the subway? So Frenzy and Rumble get them in the subway.
This is like during this, yeah, because they have Frenzy and Rumble like drop them in the fucking subways. I'm
trying to figure out. I know this is a losing battle because first of all, this was the 80s, so they're different, and also everyone was coked up. But based on like they're like Park Ave, next stop Lexington. I'm trying to figure out what subway line this is supposed to be. I'm gonna say it's the F.
Yeah. Well, at one point, Scavenger tells the Autobots to take the A train, so like, who knows?
Well, yeah, that's later on. So if that's the case, then they're cross town, but they wouldn't be anyway if they're going from Lexington to Park. So because that's east side, and the A is a west side train. So
I think they had a really like firm grasp on New York's geography.
Yeah, so do I. I think these motherfuckers lived in LA, didn't give a shit about New York, is what I think.
That is making me think. There's just so many Saturday morning cartoons in the 80s set in New York specifically. Fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mario Brothers,
Greatest city in the world, baby.
Greatest city in the world. For like just a second, I thought maybe there was like filming, not filming, there was like a studio there, but no, clearly not.
I mean, there are studios here.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like, famously, like, Titmouse is here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, Marvel, all of Marvel's stuff was set in New York because that is where the offices were. So they just like wrote every superhero living in New York, which at a certain point,
they were literally just a bunch of Jewish nerds from Brooklyn.
Which at a certain point got to be really funny once they got big enough. It's like, why does every fucking superhero just live in New York?
There was like a post I remember seeing about like pointing out like Spider-Man has like New York as a whole fucking.
Yeah, then everyone has like subsets. Like Daredevil has Hell's Kitchen and shit.
Daredevil has 8 blocks of Hell's Kitchen. Yeah.
So Spike calls him Megaklutz, and this makes Megatron so fucking mad he blows up his own control room. Which is good because around this time, the Constructicons merge into Devastator and decide, hey man, we're in New York. We got to do some King Kong type shit.
And then Wheeljack goes, oh my god, Devastator's doing some King Kong type shit.
So yeah, so there's a couple things I want to mention here. First of all,
who is it with Wheeljack who says maybe they saw the same movie?
Yeah. So
I can't remember who it is with Wheeljack. Do you remember?
I think it's not. I was about to say. I think it's Blue Streak. I was about to say Ratchet. But he's currently it is rappelling up the fucking big purple dildo.
Also, Ratchet's not that stupid.
No. So we yet again have like the like gadget arm that that Ironhide has is great. He just like has everything in there, and this time it's a grapple hook. They get shoved into the building, and Optimus gets King Kong'd. He's in Devastator's grip, and yeah, this is where Wheeljack has rigged up some fucking like news choppers to have Stinger missile launchers, and he goes, "I saw this on a movie. It's called King Kong. Let's see how this works." And nothing happens, and he looks so disappointed.
I would be.
And yeah, that's when Blue Streak goes, "Well, hey, maybe he saw the movie too." Shut the fuck up, Blue Streak. And this is where we have maybe the clunkiest one-liner I've ever heard in my entire life, because they're at the top, and Optimus has control of his arm back. And Devastator goes, "It will take more than your puny arm to stop Devastator." And Optimus goes, "You're right. Which is why it's lucky that the hand at the end of that arm is holding a gun." And Devastator goes, "What? No!" And he gets taken out with one single shot.
Beautiful.
I hate these clowns.
And at a certain point also between this, Ratchet and Ironhide shoot the floor where Soundwave and Megatron are standing, and they just fall all the way through the building.
Yeah, Joker Joestar style one-liner.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we know that Megatron's mass shifting is pretty significant, but the raw density that he must have to break straight through the second floor is pretty impressive.
Yep. And yeah, that's the end. The Decepticons retreat. The Autobots don't stay to help New York rebuild, because now there's a bunch of like debris and like Cybertronian buildings everywhere. However, Bumblebee did go to the gift shop and buy an I Heart New York sticker.
He supports local businesses.
That's right.
Hey, Mara.
Yes.
They forgore.
They forgore.
They forgot.
Which is really funny because the end of the next episode takes that into account in a very stupid ending. So the next episode, of course, is going to be Attack of the Autobots.
Mm-hmm.
And this one has some pretty good bits in it.
Hey, aren't the Autobots tired of being nice? Don't they just want to go apeshit?
So it's your average day. It's your average day at the Ark. They're sitting around working on some stupid bullshit, and then the Decepticons attack, and everyone runs out to fight the Decepticons. Oh, we totally forgot to mention, actually, to go back to City of Steel, there's a very rare appearance in the G1 cartoon.
Oh,
a buzzsaw?
Yes. So,
yeah.
Of course, Soundwave has a little menagerie of babies that live in his chest. We all know the usual suspects. We know Ravage, we know Rumble, we know Laserbeak, sometimes we know Frenzy. However...
Ratbat!
Yes, and later we'll know Ratbat, but there's one who, like... almost never shows up for some reason, which is weird because Buzzsaw, I think I know what it is. So, Buzzsaw was the pack-in cassette for Soundwave. The Soundwave toy came with Buzzsaw.
I see.
So there's no point in having him because he's not sold separately.
Exactly. That's why you put Laserbeak in there. One, because it's kind of a cooler name, and two, because if they buy the Soundwave toy, they'll buy Buzzsaw anyway. So he rarely puts in appearances in media of this era. He's basically just Laserbeak too. There's nothing to distinguish them in the original cartoon. Other than there is a issue of the Marvel comic where Buzzsaw one-shots Omega Supreme. Which is incredible. Anyway, Attack of the Autobots. Well, I wanted to mention that because it reminded me, because Prowl...
I can't wait until Blaster becomes more of a character.
Oh, yeah. Prowl pulls out like a bola grapple gun to fight Laserbeak. He goes through a whole rigmarole of like taking a thing, put it in the barrel of his gun, and like shooting it at Laserbeak's foot. It's crazy. Why do you have this? But of course, all of this is a ruse because Megatron has invented invisibility spray.
Good for him.
Which I feel like is another like very common cartoon plot. Invisibility spray.
Yeah, you don't have to draw them. or the same, as hard, as easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just got to draw the outline. It's that easy.
Hound does have it is, I mean, first of all, it's very funny that this is just something Mirage has been doing the entire time without any fanfare whatsoever.
Yeah.
And there was a great line from Hound in the previous episode when Mirage does go invisible, where he's like, well, it's a good thing I have super sensitive sensors, or else Mr. Invisible would be hard to follow.
Yeah. So they sneak into the Ark, and they put something called an attitude destabilizer inside of the Autobots' recharging chambers.
Now, as much obvious bullshit as this is, to me the much more grating thing is the solution to it.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Like, to me, the technology around this, it's like, okay, like, I can suspend my disbelief enough. Like, it's stupid, right? But, like, whatever. It's a silly cartoon. I can suspend my disbelief enough to believe that Cybertronians have come up with something that can disrupt cybernetic patterns or whatever. The solution to it, which we will get to, is just junk. It's just garbage. But we'll get there.
So after and I really love that when Megatron actually goes, Decepticons retreat, mission accomplished, and all the Autobots go, wonder what that means. Anyway, time to take a nap.
He's so fucking stupid in this show.
We need to recharge right now.
Thankfully, the Autobots are way stupider.
I mean, everyone is dumb as dirt in this. Where's Perceptor? God damn it!
Yeah, he can't get here fast enough. The Autobots really need a fucking smart guy. So the Autobots immediately go take a nap. And they wake up and they go, that's great. And they turn on the news, and the news says, hey, there's a missile launch at the nearby airbase, and the rocket, it has a satellite which gives people infinite energy. It's a solar satellite. It gives people infinite energy. And the Autobots all turn into that meme of the old Spider-Man cartoon with all the like Sinister Six looking crazy. Like they all just turn evil immediately. And go, we gotta go fuck that shit up.
Me and the boys.
However, not all of the Autobots are here, because we cut over to the middle of the Oregon desert. You know the one.
Well, Teletran has a message when this happens.
Yeah, he's like,
Teletran goes, evil presence detected. Thanks, Teletran. That would have been awesome if you had said anything beforehand. And second of all, didn't know you could do that, buddy. Didn't know that was one of the things you could scan for, is evil.
Yeah, you can scan for karma points.
There is, I would say, a lot of questions brought up about Teletran 1's sentience in this episode.
For sure.
Yeah, I was really thrown off by that whole thing. Yeah, like I was like, wait, is there like a robot inside of it, or
no? It's just a computer.
It should just be an AI assistant, basically.
Yeah, it's just Siri.
But it goes, I detect evil. Optimus, no.
Optimus, no.
Optimus, put down the gun.
But not even. It's like. And Teletran's like, hey, Optimus, I detect evil. And Optimus is like, bet, I'm going to blow you up.
It's like, yeah, you do.
And Teletran goes, no, Optimus.
And then they blow it up, and they go to smash up the airbase. But not all of the Autobots are here, because we cut to the desert. Sparkplug has given Jazz some new speakers. And they're so powerful, they can only test them out in the middle of the desert.
So funny. It is so funny that Jazz is the head of Covert Ops.
That's why they have two humans standing in front of directly in front of these sonic subwoofers.
Sonic weapons. Yeah, Jazz is such a subtle guy, head of Covert Ops.
The crazy thing is, he can be. Like, he's not bad at his job, but it is so funny that he's like, I'm the head of Covert Ops. I'm gonna go cause a rock slide with how loud I play this music now.
What would be the funniest music to edit into this scene that Jazz would be playing?
Yakety sax.
The Germa, like, loud farting and screaming mix.
I'm in the house like carpet.
Yes. So Bumblebee.
Shorty wanna fuck?
Oh, yep. No, it's that one.
That's a good.
Absolutely.
That's solid. Yeah.
The like that Seabat song,
Fruit salad, yummy, yummy.
I mean, there's so many good options. Caramel dancing. Bumblebee doesn't.
No. You have to do caramel. Caramel dancing is only appropriate if someone is lying face down in the dirt.
Oh,
the most painful song in existence is probably Temporary Secretary, so I'm gonna go with that one.
Oh God.
Temporary Secretary is pretty good. What about Break Stuff?
Oh yeah,
that would work. Yeah.
I need to make a fucking like Break Stuff G1 AMV. There's so many good sequences of people just getting thrown through walls.
Just do Grimlock. Grimlock Break Stuff AMV.
So Bumblebee doesn't care for all of this loud music, so he leaves early. And Jazz proceeds to blow Sparkplug and Spike's eardrums out and cause a rock slide.
Which they call an avalanche, which it's not. It's a rock slide.
You dipshits. So then Bumblebee goes back to base and goes, "Hey, where is everybody?" And the most normal man of all time, Bluestreak, comes up to him and goes, "Hey, Bumblebee, you want to go take a nap?" And Bumblebee goes, no, I don't think so."
And everyone goes, "What's wrong with Bluestreak? He's speaking normally."
And Bluestreak says, "You should take a nap so you can become evil." And he forces Bumblebee into the nap pod, but thankfully that's when Jazz and the rest of them show up, and Jazz throws a thing at Bluestreak's chest so hard it knocks him out. Sparkplug says it tripped his reset sensor or something.
And then Sparkplug comes up with he does that in a bit, right?
Yeah, first they repair Teletran, and Teletran says, "Shit's fucked."
And it cuts over to where the Autobots are destroying all the fighter jets.
All of this is in the Break Stuff AMV.
Yeah, this is
exactly.
Karate chopping a jet.
They're in that fucking Eggman Sonic Adventure 2 level.
But I really love the line where, Teletran tells them what's going on. Megatron infiltrated and put a device into our recharging chambers that made everyone evil. And they go, "Oh no, how many Autobots are affected?" And Teletran just goes, all of them.
Now, back in my day, you had to get giant robots to tear fighter jets apart if you wanted to get rid of one. These days, the kids are just dumping them in the ocean.
Yeah, they just do it themselves. Putting giant robots out of a job. But yeah, they're smashing Optimus, Prowl, and Brawn are smashing up the airbase. Ratchet and Hound.
Brawn can barely reach the noses, let's be honest.
he's a short king. Ratchet and Hound have gone to harass this lesbian scientist who has the plans for the infinite.
Dr. Harding, are you free on Thursday when I am also free?
She is so fucking cool. I'm just rewatching it. She is on lock.
She's locked the fuck in.
She's so cool and so hot and crazy competent for a human in this show.
Which she will never show up again. This is her early appearance. The Autobots don't keep her fucking number. They probably should have, because
which is why I'm asking if she's free on Thursday. As far as I'm aware, she's not doing anything else.
Yeah, and she's really quick to accept the enemy Autobot. Or if someone says there's an enemy Autobot approaching, and she just seems to go, okay. It's always weird when it's always weird because in this show there's they're public figures. They're like everyone knows about them except when they don't.
Interesting.
Well, here's the thing. I do think that there is an actual tension in G1 that we see less. I mean, because they're not public figures for the most part in other ones, but there is this tension where it's the Autobots have not been fully accepted by everyone.
That's explored a lot more in the second phase of the IDW comics after all of the infiltration stuff.
Right, after War Destroys Earth.
Yeah.
But there's a few examples where basically it's the Autobots hang out in Portland with Sparkplug and Spike.
I have to say, it wasn't until this recording that I realized they were based out of Portland.
No one knows that they're based out of Portland because there's nothing to suggest it. But they are based out of Portland.
I believe people have just basically done it because it's implied that the fucking volcano the Ark landed in was Mount St. Helens.
Helena. Yeah.
Fair enough. It's a pretty cool mountain.
Yeah. Obviously, this was before I think the mountain fucking exploded, and pretty much no longer exists, other than as a shield cone. But that's beside the point. So yeah, but she's ready to go. She's locked in.
No, this is 4 years after the eruption.
Well, damn, they just missed Mount St. Helens so much.
Damn.
They wanted it back.
Yeah. Never forget.
So while she's dealing with that, Sparkplug has come up with a solution.
I hate this. I hate you, Sparkplug Wiki.
It's literally just the joke from the end of that one Treehouse of Horror episode. See, you forgot to switch the evil switch off.
Yeah, you put a little ball on them and they're good now.
Yep.
So not only, I guess it could. Listen, if Teletran can scan for evil, I guess it is something quantifiable.
Yeah.
that can be measured and therefore apparently dealt with.
Yeah, reset the karma score.
They just Sparkplug's like, here's a device I made to slurp out evil and build up goodness. Literally, that is what this thing does. And it's just the ball that they throw at people.
Yeah.
And
this is just
instantaneously,
science.
it takes no time. It is instantaneous. It slurps out the evil and pumps them full of goodness.
Yeah, and it just adheres. I guess it's magnetized or something.
Yep.
This is... What part of Wizard of Oz is this? I don't remember this.
This is the attitude exchanger for those keeping track of the various doohickeys people build in this show.
The attitude adjustment.
A rare non-wheeljack based doohickey. I will say.
I mean, Sparkplug is really putting in his time this season.
Yeah, he's kind of being the wheeljack understudy. He already did Crimes Against God. That's step one.
Maybe here's the thing. Maybe they had this ready to go after Gears. Maybe they were like, okay, Gears, we're gonna take you out of subspace, but just in case, here's a special tool we have to put you back in it.
So we cut over. They tested on Bluestree, who wakes up and he goes, "Oh my god, everyone's at the airbase," and Bumblebee goes over to the airbase while Jazz and Sparkplug go to find Hound and Ratchet. And I love this sequence where Bumblebee is just getting the shit beaten out of him by Optimus. Speaking of things that have influences on later media, this is very similar to the last part of Transformers: The Last Night.
Mm-hmm.
With
it's a great movie if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, a movie that definitely didn't give me a fucking headache from the constantly changing aspect ratios. So... Yeah, I'm like, Optimus, this isn't your heart. And Optimus literally just backhands him.
I love you, but this isn't your heart. Please call me.
I know you're in there.
Yeah, no, he ain't. Not yet, at least. So Dr. Harper here somehow survives being in a metal dumpster that is spiked at a wall by Hound with no injuries.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over it, but I do want to shout out seeing robots come into her office and immediately smashing open a window with her chair and getting the fuck out.
Yeah, she's there. She knows exactly what show she's in.
She's on the third floor. She bounces on a fucking parasol.
Breaking the window, diving out of a third-story room, and landing on a table umbrella. Please, I hope you're free on Thursday.
And of course, the plan for this week is Megatron's going to steal the rocket that they're going to use to launch the satellite, take it to Cybertron with the plans for the infinite energy satellite, and then just build it on Cybertron. I gotta say, huge L for humanity somehow figuring out unlimited energy before Cybertronians, but I guess they haven't.
That's what happens when you go to war for 4 million years.
Yeah, all of your technology sort of gets funneled into one purpose. Anyway, they make Hound and Ratchet good again, and then they go up the street and they see Skyfire shooting down U.S. Army aircraft, which is good.
Good for him.
Skyfire has fully stopped being a character now. He is just the bus.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad about Skyfire. This is why you should have gone back with your ex.
Yeah, you should have stayed with it. Well, then again,
should have stayed with Starscream.
Well, then again, we know what happens to Astro Train, so maybe they wouldn't respect him much there either. Either way, he's getting the bus treatment.
By the way, sadly. I can't believe that they didn't introduce Astro Train in the subway episode.
Well, yeah, he would have a very famous moment there later.
Yeah, in the comics.
All hail Megatron, you beautiful, stupid disaster. So
I like Phase 1. I'm brave and I'll say it. I like Phase 1.
There's some good shit in there. And also all have Megatron, but that's fine.
And Megatron Origins, what about it?
That's true. Megatron Origins goes crazy and basically none of it is canon.
No.
He has hair in that. It's weird.
Great.
3 whole hairs.
Yeah, and he's got the bumpers there. There's all sorts of stuff going on there.
Oh my god.
So they free Skyfire, and he goes, "Boy, howdy, I can't wait to get you guys to where you're going. I'm just a bus." And they go to the airbase where the Autobots are, smashing shit up. At a certain point, Megatron busts into a lab, and he goes, "I'm taking over this operation." Like, the Decepticons are kind of barely in this episode. They're in the beginning and the end.
Yeah, because their plan works pretty well.
Yeah. It's ultimately only the power of audiophile, like sound design that really trips them up. So
and the doohickey.
And the doohickey. The Megatron always forgets to account for the doohickey.
You would think after living with Starscream for this long, he wouldn't, but
after going up against Wheeljack's fucking plans every time, it's like, well, no, we got to account for some kind of doohickey debacle.
I like the fanon in some circles that like Wheeljack is the scariest Autobot to Decepticons. They're like, keep us away from that freak.
Watching this show, I fucking believe it. You should see, we haven't even gotten to some of the craziest shit he builds in this season, such as the episode called The Immobilizer. Mm-hmm. So this is
I broke the Geneva Convention again.
This episode features the appearance of a rarely seen facet of Optimus Prime's character, which is that like his consciousness is split between 3 segments. The main body, the like trailer battle station, and the little roller drone. This is something that's in his original like character profile. It almost never shows up anywhere else. I think this might be the last time it's ever mentioned, but it comes into play because they try to stick him with the attitude adjustment, but he splits into his 3 segments to stop it from working, but that just gives him like a migraine. And this is when Bumblebee goes, "It's not your heart, I know you're in there." And this is when he's also he's so small here. He's so little. And
he's just a little guy, and he's a birthday boy.
He's God's littlest son.
I'm posting the most special little boy screenshot there is of Bumblebee. Look at him. Look at him. He's so happy. But yeah, they fix Prime.
He looks so cute in that shot.
They fix Prime. And he's like, "I'm back to normal. But we have to stop the Decepticons from launching the rocket." And Jazz goes, "I have just the thing. Just get me up there." And his speakers are so powerful that they ignite the rocket fuel inside the fuel tank and blow the fucking rocket up.
It plays like a jam sesh insert song.
Yeah, and the Decepticons are like, "Oh, fuck, we need to go." What the hell did you build him, Sparkle? These are not speakers. This is sonic weaponry.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, man, blasters so soon. He's soon coming. We'll get to Blaster.
He's coming. He's in. I love. There's literally a point in the episode list, and I realize actually the one on YouTube is right, but this makes more sense because you can split the episodes into like 3 distinct segments. And there's a really funny part where you finish episode 13, and the very next episode, like, 45
army
new
of new guys are there
on both sides just show up with no explanation. Like, what?
I assume
Inferno?
It's Inferno and Red Alert. Assume.
It's a Dynamite Island Part 1. Just all of the guys show up.
Oh, okay. No. I'm saying, but it's like including Inferno and Red Alert.
Yeah, Inferno, Red Alert, Grapple, Hoist, Trax, Perceptor. All of the guys show up,
and then Astro Train, Blitzwing.
Yep.
The Coneheads, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, then some of them, that's when like Reflector disappears. Like there's stuff like that.
Good riddance.
Yeah, I'm tired of.
Why was he here for so long? I saw him last week, and I was like,
there were no like Decepticon troop toys. That's why they had to pad their numbers out with infinite reflector clones and a bunch of generic seekers.
Of all the alt modes to have 3 people, a fucking camera,
and they combine into one camera, so like they can't do anything separately.
They're useless. I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate Reflector so much.
He's definitely the most sauceless of the original.
He sucks.
Original run Autobots and Decepticons. Like, there's nothing going on there.
It's like eventually I think they were just like, yeah, this guy has no sauce. Let's just keep using laser beam instead.
Are we really gonna keep putting the fucking camera dudes on TV? No, we have like a bunch of new planes now. Just put them on TV. This guy can turn into a plane.
War for Cybertron needed
this guy
a
can
bunch
turn
of
into
background
a plane
characters
and a train. That's double the money.
What about this guy? A plane and a tank. Shit.
Fuck.
When I think about it, a lot of triple changes. One of them is just plane, because also that's the same with Octane. Plane and tanker truck.
Or like shuttle.
Broadside?
I mean, the triple changers are all like space worthy, right? Like that's one of the that's one of the main thing about them is that they're big and space worthy.
Including Springer, who can turn into a helicopter. Don't ask about that. Anyway, they save the day. The rocket gets shot down. And Optimus says, "Bumblebee, thank you so much. You're the reason the day was saved." And Sparkplug goes, "What the fuck, man? I'm the one who made the attitude adjuster." And Ratchet goes, "Fuck you, you little squishy bitch. You only use that because you had my notes, man." And then Jazz says, "Everybody shut up. We have to spend the next month and a half rebuilding that airbase you guys smashed up." And everyone laughs. The end.
Yeah, freeze frame. The end.
Yeah, this one's definitely similar to the first two we talked about this season. This one's like, it's all right. Anything that just has the like original 1984 cast is kind of mid. As soon as the new guys start showing up, it goes crazy.
I see.
Are you ready for the best Autobot ever? Is everyone ready for Beachcomber? Is
like
everyone ready for?
Yeah, he's a dune buggy who's like a stoner hippie guy who loves nature.
Yeah,
awesome.
He is such a great character. Beachcomber, my beloved, we're coming, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sea Spray, who for some reason they had all of his dialogue sound like someone who was gargling salt water.
Great.
For some reason, not a popular character. I wonder why.
But I love Boomhauer.
Windcharger. I feel like Windcharger also fades away when the new guys come around.
He dies off screen in the movie.
Yeah, I keep like seeing him and I'm like, who is that? I was like, oh yeah, Windcharger. I forgot
he never uses his magnet powers. They never let him do anything. It's always
you have a special outlier ability, my man. Why are you doing anything?
It's like,
with
okay,
him?
we have our little guys. Is there someone who needs to be like a brave little boy? Get Bumblebee in there. Do we need someone who can punch things? Get Brawn in there.
Oh,
you can make force fields. What are we doing here?
Do we need someone who's like really paranoid and has way too many guns? Get Cliffjumper in there. Do we need someone who just bitches and moans all the time? Get Gears in there. Do we need someone who bitches and moans about the wokes all the time? Well, we can't put Huffer in there anymore because of the things he said last week on set. And that's
so it's Ironhide now.
Great.
Yeah, so it's Ironhide now.
Great.
Okay, there's a man named Huffer. He's a tiny orange truck, and before Gears was the complaining guy, he was the like complaining guy. But instead of Gears just being like sort of a like hypochondriac guy who's always complaining about his own stuff, Huffer would just bitch and moan about every little thing and being like, "You guys, no, it's not."
Hey, you guys leaving me behind. outside talking like one of the Three Stooges.
He's the ultimate pessimist, and so I made a bit where he was like an anti-woke influencer guy back in season 1, and he has completely vanished because nobody likes Huffer. Anyway, let's get into some fucking Questarino.
Also, his toy wasn't well designed.
I mean, none of the mini bots were. They were all just like kind of shitty.
Before we get into questions, I do want to say a couple things.
Yes.
Number one, I really love in the ending cutscene at the end of the episode where fucking Optimus like tousles Bumblebee's little horns. That one's cute. Number two, the process of realizing that Jazz is the Black Transformer was interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we get Blaster too.
Great. I'll find out someday.
Can you guess what Blaster's character is?
Well,
can you guess what Blaster transforms into?
Maybe some sort of recording and playing device, perhaps some sort of a boombox, commonly known as a ghetto blaster.
That is correct.
That would be correct.
Yeah.
What do you think his character is?
Yeah, I wrote down just like this sort of like process I realized it. Cool, there's a gremlin transformer. Damn, his eye catch animation is fucking sick. Why does he sound like an elderly black man, like Sanford and or Son? Oh, his name's Jazz, I get it now.
Yes. Of course, voiced by the legendary Scatman Crothers.
Great
who
name.
Is perhaps most well known for being in The Shining.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yep. He was also Hong Kong Phooey, if you're looking for other like old-timey cartoons.
I see.
So, I mean, yeah, that is the G1 Jazz. You know, he's a beloved character, but sort of a Barrett type situation.
Planet Stalin Cloud. Oh, right. The other thing I wanted to note is you listing off all of these like names and lore that I'm not aware of feels like how I imagine most people react when I start talking about Bionicle. All right.
Most of the stuff. I will say most of the stuff we mention is like not particularly important, and anything that actually does need context. Here's the thing about G1: there's no context,
right?
Ever.
Yeah.
They're just guys, and sometimes they fight each other, and sometimes they open nightclubs.
I see.
The only stuff that we would actually, I think that's like really necessary for you to know context for is when we're talking about some of the stuff from the comics, which I think we've tried our best to make sure we've caught you up on.
Because the IDW1 comics are all, they do have context. They have loads of context. Context out the ass. All right. Let's do some fucking questions.
Oh, right, me.
Yeah, you're the one who reads them.
Listen.
One of these weeks.
Okay. Our first question this week is from Cosmos Loyal Soldier. Chet, what the fuck did the Constructicons do to turn Optimus's torso into a crocodile? Is the Croctimus sentient?
No, I think there's no indication that it's sentient. And like we said, Bone Crusher watched a fucking like network TV special about sewer gators, and he was enamored.
It's like an RC thing. They just like wind it up.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Decepticon Ruby asks, could you imagine how fucked City of Steel is if it was flesh? Like a PS1 horror game where your dad's corpse is split into parts and reanimated as the fences and bizarre themed areas?
I think I remember this part of the game Scorn.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Silent Hill 3.
Oh yeah, that's totally a Silent Hill thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fucked up.
Like the fucked up flesh alligator, like the bear from Annihilation. It makes human screams.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking porking across America type shit.
Chet asks, what is the better power? Optimus's inexplicable power to psychically control his severed limbs, or Megatron's inexplicable power of flight?
Okay, all of the Decepticons have the inexplicable power of flight. All of them can fly, including Soundwave in tape mode. Do not forget he can fly in tape mode. It's really funny.
That is really funny. Yeah, it's just a Decepticon thing.
Unless you're talking about the first season in which Autobots could fly too, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. They're ground pounders. Don't.
Which
They're
Dan is Dan. That's a slur.
They're
in like IDW comics for like
and like G1.
Modes. Yeah,
like Starscream definitely calls them filthy ground pounders and G1 as well.
Absolute Starscream type beat.
But I like to think.
Sorry, I just imagined a subplot in the parts of the IDW comic where Starscream is president of Cybertron. Don't worry about that. Where his political office is imperiled by a leaked like a Nixon-esque leaked clip of him talking to Ratchet about those filthy ground pounders.
I mean, listen, by the time his presidency has come around, there's so much worse that everyone knows about him.
That's true.
Circuit has all that shit on speed dial. It's out there. He still be Optimus or Bumblebee for presidency. Did he kill Metal Hawk? Well, yes, but
no one can prove it.
No one can prove it.
There was a lot happening at the time. Nobody can prove that I did it.
What was I going to say? I do like to think that it was like a Starscream special, basically, like Megatron being like, we want Bose on our side, and Starscream being like, cool, I'm not going to hang out with you if you don't fly. And Megatron's like, can you do that? And Starscream being like, probably. and then like figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. Which I will say, that is like definitionally the better power, because this Optimus power, it's very good. Highly niche, does require you to be disassembled.
Oh, we did forget one of the other rarely seen things that we did see in this episode was some classic jet judo.
Oh yeah, Sideways and Sunstreaker's specialty.
Sunstreaker doesn't sideswipe.
That's true. It's a sideswipe special. That's right. Sunstreaker is much too.
No, sorry. So it's both of them. You said Sideways though.
Oh, Sideways, different guy.
But,
I was just thinking about my
different guy.
I was just thinking about my beautiful son, my beautiful.
No, it is the Lambo twins who do jet judo, but in this case, it is just Sideswipe who like jumps up, wraps his entire body around
Starscream.
It says.
Some great lines.
Say uncle or gonna shove your nose cone into your afterburner.
Great.
And Starscream, of course, goes, Uncle!
I didn't know Decepticons had uncles. Oh.
And then it crashes him into a building.
No, into the river. He crashes him into the East River.
Sideswipe, you asshole.
Okay. Anybody else think about the song Break Stuff during the Autobots Rampage?
Yay!
Yeah, we sure did. Did Megatron buy his
too.
invisibility spray from the same place as SpongeBob?
I was thinking a lot about that SpongeBob episode when they did that. I was just thinking the one where he takes all his clothes off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see a very Emperor's New Clothes thing happening with Starscream and Megatron.
Good for them.
How surprised were you to see a rare appearance of Buzzsaw? Delighted.
Yeah, I think I like his color scheme. The black and gold is very nice. It's very elegant.
It's more yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Okay.
It's supposed to be gold.
Yeah. Besides what Sam asked, the City of Steel count as the Seekers doing 9/11 if they were also the ones to build the tower.
It's like it's like if Al Qaeda built fucking One World Trade Center.
Yeah. But they did it. They did 9/11 to the Empire State Building, and that's the important one.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Aurora Cosmos, like the UFO, asks, we all know him as Croctimus Prime, but is he actually a crocodile or an alligator robot?
This is confirmed. They call him an alligator con.
He's a sewer gator. Like, this is in
fact an alligator.
This is a purposeful joke about, like, the sewer gators of New York City.
I felt seen and heard.
That's right. That's why I had you on this damn episode.
Creamzeek asks, which Cybertronian exchanging personalities would be the funniest?
Fuck.
Wait, let me read part 2. If other Cybertronians tried to get a refund on their personalities, who is only able to exchange, who's only allowed store credit, who gets their money back? Let's do, like, 5 of these.
Yes.
Okay, Cybertronians changing personalities, that would be funniest.
Gears and anybody else. And they don't get their money back.
Gears and Mirage. Specifically for Mirage and Gears' body.
Yeah,
because I think he'd kill himself.
Gears would have a great name. He's like, wow, I'm hot. I have no more health problems.
I go home and I'm rich.
And Mirage is like, oh god, I'm a shitty
I'm killing
man.
myself. I'm killing myself. I'm killing myself.
I think, let's see. I mean, Longhaul and anyone at Longhaul's desperate for this one.
Yeah.
Longhaul and Starscream.
No, I think... So here's the thing. I do think the funniest is a mini-bot with someone, or like a Kisetacon.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Frenzy and somehow all of Devastator at once.
Christ.
You get their money back for that one, because you mean that's a 5-for-1 deal, or 6 for 1.
Yeah, alright. If other Cybertronians tried to get a refund on their personalities, who's only able to exchange? I
think Gears and Mirage, there's no refund for Mirage. Gears ain't got no money.
I see.
Yeah. He might be allowed store credit, though.
That maybe. Perhaps. Gears gets store credit. We'll go to the next
I think some of them are just like no refunds, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we've reached the end of this bit.
I can't remember what it...
So many rooms, but we've come to a dead end. I've been playing a lot of Blueprints.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called when people purposely debate against their own viewpoints, but can Audrey convince Mara that New York is kind of overrated?
I live in Texas. This won't work on me. Like, literally anywhere, almost anywhere is better than North Texas. Almost anywhere on Earth.
That's not the question, though. The question isn't, is it better than Texas, which is...
That's true.
Unequivocally true. The question is it overrated?
Is it?
And I will say that I think a lot of the biggest tourist attractions are.
Yes.
Specifically, like, the viewpoints, like, the Empire State Building is massively overrated. There's no point in doing that. There are plenty of other perfectly nice viewpoints in the city, including, like, a bunch of, like, really nice rooftop bars where you could at least get a drink, while looking over.
I love taking Latino small business culture and saying it's something that only New York has ever done.
Oh, here we go. Is
it's a joke about bodegas.
Is this the bodega?
Oh.
Is the bodega thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So I will say that there is a very touristy version of New York that is overrated.
I feel like that's true with any big city, right? You need a local there to like show you, okay, don't go here, don't go here, don't go here. All of these are like tourist traps. I can show you where you gotta go.
Now, I will say, like, some of the tourist places are like 100% worth it. Like particularly the museums.
I was about to say, I want to go to the fucking Museum of Natural History.
Like the AMNH, like the big three, the AMNH, the American Museum of Natural History, the Met, and MoMA, Museum of Modern Art, are all genuinely incredible museums.
I remember as a kid, my mom taking me to this like museum of like Spanish history specifically.
That's probably Museo del Barrio.
Okay, yeah,
which is
in really
Spanish in Spanish Harlem. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, there you go. I don't know what this first question from.
Oh, I know what Vera's talking about here.
Is it related?
What is your personal opinion on the greatest city in the world, Philadelphia, where those brave heroes brutally murdered that defenseless hitchhiking robot?
Yeah, there was like this thing in like, I want to say the early to mid 2010s, maybe a little later, where like someone like on Twitter like set up this like hitchhiking robot.
I remember this.
Yeah, they would have an account. It would like post updates and stuff. And when it got to Philly, it just got fucking destroyed.
Obviously. I feel like that was inevitable.
With
I mean,
yeah.
Shout outs to Philadelphia.
Shout outs to Philly.
Go Birds.
Got that fucked up thing there.
Lead pipe.
Any home remedies for when you catch the seasonal case of lakes turning into alligators?
I find matzo ball soup. Like a heated ginger ale with like a little bit of lemon. It works.
Matzo ball soup. It's Jewish penicillin.
I don't know what you're doing about while you're trying to remedy this. This is my ideal scenario.
That's the opposite of a problem. Yeah.
I do still have those alligator slippers you sent me for a couple years back.
Yeah. Were the red eyes caused by them being evil or due to the camera being used?
Famously, it's just like it's a safety hazard feature, you know? Like
right.
It's like you might as well say why is there a fire alarm in this building? It's
the red eyes are an indicator. It's like a brightly colored frog.
Mm-hmm.
And which Transformers, justified or not, should go apeshit more often? Sorry to be predictable, but Starscream.
Ratchet,
you're right. Call an ambulance, but not me.
Especially, man, considering if anyone knows the shit he goes through in the Marvel comics, he deserves to go apeshit on some people.
That's true.
He has a bad time in those comics.
His husband calls him Ratty. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He gets fused with Megatron at one point. It's crazy. It's so crazy what happens to Ratchet in the Marvel comics.
We already talked about what Pharma does to him. Who else should go batshit more often? Red Alert.
Oh, I mean, there's an episode about that maybe says he shouldn't go batshit that often.
No, I know. And to be fair, that's also Starscream going batshit a little bit.
That's true.
I fucked your security advisor, shit lips.
Yeah, it's sort of a bad influence type situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Heybine asks, so far this season, 4 episodes in a row, has been entirely about forcibly changing bodies and minds, each in a truly unique and messed up way. What's up with that? It's a transformation kink. We talked about it.
Yeah. Marty McFly showed up in the writer's room and said, "You're not going to get this, but your kids will love it."
I suggest Force Femme was in the writer's room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, we don't know yet.
Mia Sweet Kitty's unlocked time travel.
Yeah, where's Alita and her gang for suggesting Force Femme?
Yeah, so Shockwave can go females? Yeah, I never thought about that theme. You're right. There is a lot of, and it kind of continues. Well, not really. The next episode doesn't really have that, but the Immobilizers episode 6, and that's kind of about like loss of bodily autonomy, and that you're frozen by the Immobilizer.
Here's the thing: we joke and laugh, and we make fun of me for being horny about giant robots and writing an entire PowerPoint about how they fuck. Mm-hmm. But just like literally every other cartoon in the 80s, there was weird horny energy that went on in G1.
We're only a few episodes away from the requisite shrink down into a guy and go inside episode.
Oh, awesome! Finally,
which is also the one where the Decepticons get smashed on Energon and are drunk as fuck.
Awesome.
How far are we from the girl who loved Powerglide?
Oh, I think that's a late season one. That's episode 38. That is the one where a lady falls in love with Powerglide.
Where like an heiress falls in love with Powerglide.
Like a straight out of like a 1930s pulp novel.
Yeah.
Like hey, I'm gonna fuck this plane.
This rotocopter, whatever.
No, he's a plane.
Oh no, he's a plane. Yeah.
Wait, I forgot her name is literally Astoria.
Her name is literally Astoria.
Damn.
Her name was Astoria Carlton Ritz. They just smashed 2 fucking hotels together.
3.
All right, 3.
It's the Astoria Waldorf.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Ritz Carlton. Yeah, you're right. So, okay. City of Steel is one of my earliest Transformers memories. Watching it on Fuzzy American Terrestrial Channel during the G2 re-airings in the 90s. What is your earliest, fuzziest Transformers memory? It's probably Armada, honestly.
Yeah, it's Armada.
Armada was. I think I have something. So I have a few. I think I saw like. I don't know if I actually caught any of Robots in Disguise on TV. But I definitely had...
It was 2001, Red.
Yeah, because I had one of the toys for the Grimlock in that, who was not one of the few who's not a dinosaur. He's like a part of a Constructicon type team. And before that, I had a Happy Meal toy of Jetstorm from Beast Machines. But I don't remember if I saw any Rid. I definitely like the first show I for sure watched was Armada, but like maybe I caught some Robots in Disguise even way before that. I don't have any real memories of it, but I remember the toy.
Yeah, I can definitely say the first experience I ever had with Transformers is watching the pilot of Armada in my aunt's house, or my aunt's apartment. I can remember like how it looked, the layout of the room, the like big TV, the like sort of what's the word? The sort of sense of awe I got at watching these big robots shoot and explode and stuff.
Those are some pretty good episodes too. The first like 3 episodes of Armada, they ain't bad.
I've been watching Armada, or I kind of rewatched Armada in the background during one of my friend's streams for a while, and it does throw me off just how much one of the like shitty little boys is just Eddie from Ed, Edd n Eddy, but fat.
Same voice actor. Yeah. And of course, he's also the every single missile hit the target guy. That's the funniest one of those, because he only had one voice really.
Yeah. What uses can you think of for an invisibility spray that leaves your outline clearly visible?
Okay, look,
public baths.
Wait, what's the use there?
The use there is that, like, I can go in naked, and
sure.
Oh, but no one. Yeah, it's only your outline. Okay,
it's my outline. What do I care about that?
Yeah.
Public baths and sauna.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, get naked. It's what it's for.
That's on the bottle that they had, the Starscream and Megatron. Both of them go, I don't know what that means.
It's for getting naked.
They're looking for the one that turns the spray that turns them gold when they bathe. Remember?
Oh yeah, the invincible pistol gun.
Yeah, there's a warning on the back of the label that says, "But watch out."
But watch out.
Finally, what animal do you want your physical remains to be forcibly reformed into? I'm gonna get cremated.
I want like a fucked up bone deer. I always like when there's a fucked up monster that's got deer antlers. I think that's great. Mm-hmm. Deer are scary.
Yeah. I guess it depends on what bits don't get like donated for like surgeries and stuff. 'Cause whatever those are, just like make like, I don't know. It's got to be some make it into a weird toy or something like that.
Y'all ever watch Tusk?
I haven't, but I know what happens in it.
Oh, wait.
It's on Tubi. Tubi has it for you.
You better fucking believe it does. Oh, actually, I'm going to say effigy of my persona. That way I can make sure if I get to haunt it, I get a more ideal form.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I would have just defaulted to my persona if I really didn't have a choice. Which is lion.
Still doing fucked up bone deer.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
And our last question today is from Geist. Was the Optimus Prime arm turret powerful because it was a piece of Optimus, or was it powerful because it was no longer held back from the sheer amount of violence Optimus always wanted to do but didn't?
Optimus is just fucking busted in this show. Like I said, he blew up 7 turrets by driving past them.
Yeah, also, like, Optimus doesn't hold back on violence in this show. You're thinking of other Optimus Primes. This one loves to shoot people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this Optimus would never do a World of Cardboard speech. He's ready to rumble at any given fucking time.
Yeah.
He's basically just Superman until he has to die in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, he's just invincible.
Yeah, he's based in America in the 1980s. You want him to de-escalate?
No way. It's time to blow some shit up.
America, fuck yeah.
Red, white, and blue,
that
damn.
is the undercurrent.
A little bit. Not as much as G.I. Joe, but
no, of course not. It's not. It's called G.I. Joe. What are you expecting?
A real American hero, may I remind you.
You may.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we've been Prime Cuts. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Prime Cuts Pod. Join the Discord. We'll have something after this season. Maybe it's Audrey's Transformers Sex PowerPoint. Maybe I'm gonna lock everyone in a room and make you all watch that terrible Transformers Prime fan movie. Who's to say?
Maybe I'll
although I guess
stream some of the games.
if I could fucking buy any of them, all of them are delisted, and like none of the servers are up. You have to like go through 7 different hoops to jump through them.
I have Fall of Cybertron on Steam.
I just, if they re-released War for Cybertron and had escalation mode back, I would fucking buy that shit instantly. I spent so much time in my youth playing the wave mode.
Mara, I'm saying I will do it. I have
but
the
Fall
game.
of Cybertron isn't the same. The escalation mode wasn't as good. I need the first one.
Well, I have that one too, but only for PS3, and it only works limitedly.
But like, I should have held onto my copy of Transformers Devastation. I didn't realize how good I had it. Anyway, maybe something like that if we can figure it out. R.I.P. to Transformers Reactivate.
What do you mean if we can figure it out? I have the
game. Right, but like I don't. So you can stream it, but I can't play it. I want to play it. It's a co-op game.
Well, true. Yeah.
It's best with a friend.
That's
road
true.
Trip, couch co-op, road trip.
Oh man, you do get to play as Vortex in that game, and I do enjoy that a lot. Vortex's controls are really good.
I think you get to play as all of the Combaticons.
You can choose, you can choose which Combaticon you go as. You can play as at least 3 of them. You can play as Vortex, Swindle, and I think Onslaught.
Brawl. Well, I guess Brawl you could play in the first game. That game.
Yeah, I think it's Onslaught, Vortex, and Swindle. But Vortex is a lot of fun because the other bitches don't fly.
Yeah, I think War for Cybertron is like the better game, but Fall of Cybertron definitely has the cooler moments.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's beside the point. Find me on Twitter, find me on Blue Sky.
Well,
you
first,
can find me
let's do our guest first.
Yes. Sorry, yes. Plug it all.
Yeah. You can find me at biggerchallenge.card.co. That includes my other podcast, Pot of Greed. I'll let Audrey handle that part. You can listen to, I have I have like games on there, or I have some like tabletop stuff I've worked on that I've linked there. Some interstitial 2E playbooks, a storytelling game based on the tokusatsu show Kaiketsu Zubat, and you can find my socials there. Big challenges at kaiba.online on Blue Sky. Bigger Challenge on Tumblr. I'm trying to look up a release date because I figure I might as well shout it out on this one. But I think in 6 weeks or so, 5 or 6 weeks from this recording. So probably late June, early July. You'll be able to hear me on the podcast, the Friendship Factory, where I guested on 2 episodes of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic and talked for 3 hours.
Christ alive.
Yeah. I guess I'll also shout out, you can check out my Fur Affinity Bigger Challenge, since I've made so many references. Alright, that's it for me.
Great. I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Optimum Prime. That's my funny robot internet joke. You can listen to the other podcast I do called Pot of Greed, which I do with Dan and several other folks who you'll be hearing throughout this season, which is about Yu-Gi-Oh! We just finished 5Ds. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. The last set of episodes has gone up, and we just have to do a wrap up, try to do the movie again, and then we're gonna be on break until we start Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, the 4th series.
I've been cast in a radio drama for which I'm also a script editor called The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, which is an active production at the moment and should be releasing the first full season later on this year. Mm-hmm. I am working on a series with the Moonshot Network, which I will have more information on for you all as we get closer to posting that. And sometimes I do Star Trek related drag. My next show will actually be next Saturday, June 7th. I know what days are. And if you're in the New York area, come by Industry for a good time and a free time.
Cool.
I'm Mara. You can find me on Blue Sky and Mara Reverend Biscuit at Social and Tumblr.
Really quick, if you do want to see the drag stuff, I forgot to actually say. My account for that is Maxwell Warp on Instagram. Sorry.
MaraRiverin.biscuit at social. Cyclonus with a 5 at the end on Tumblr. All my other projects are kind of on hold right now, but I still have a episode of the Hyperfixation Station somewhere down the pipeline, so keep an eye on that. And until next time, listeners, I am going to mold all of the disparate body parts of my dismembered foe into the most fearsome guardian I can imagine, a stinky ferret. Transform and roll out.
Roll out.
I'm gonna take the third exit off the Brooklyn Bridge. Transform and roll out.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to rupture my eardrums listening to temporary secretary out of a sonic weapon. Transform and roll out.
Beach.